This is 1988's Robocop by Data Reese, based on the 1987 movie by Orion Pictures. What can I say? Another great example of the arcade machines I absolutely loved back in the day when I was a kid. It's running on MAME, running on my Wii. All the speech in this, by the way, is lifted directly from the movie, but yeah, I played that in the arcade. I always talk about it in Westwood Ho, and this was another example of a machine that was at the end of the arcade where you could smell chips. So I don't know if that's another reason I absolutely love this game, but it properly blew my tits off back in the day. I just thought it was an absolutely incredible game. You know, it's very staple for the time, it really is. Now, it was ported by Ocean to an absolute shit ton of home systems. I mean, the 16-bit versions, or at least the Atari ST, I remember being reasonably accurate. The Spectrum version, which is considered an arcade port, not so much so. You know, the gameplay mechanics are the same, you know, well, very similar indeed. But it does differ, and maybe that's a hardware restriction thing, I don't know. But I do remember I absolutely loved the Spectrum version. In fact, I like the Game Boy version as well, because I think that is a port of the Spectrum version. Boring random fact, it's one of the most successful Spectrum games ever. It actually spent a year and a half at the top of the charts. It was crazy successful. And let's get into this, we'll have some cash in. I do remember this being an example of games back in the day that, as good as you were, well, easy there with the speed, people. I can't read it. As good as you were, there was just a more level of pump and money than there was sort of skill. Wow, bad start. You know, like stuff like Altered Beast and, you know, Eastward and that. I mean, you could progress through it, but let's be honest. And Space Harrier, you weren't getting to the end unless you had a, you know, pocket full of shrapnel. Right, so you got jump and punch. Later there'll be fire. I can't believe that you can actually jump. It's a game, so we'll ignore the physics. I do admire his restraint, you know. They're throwing motorbikes at you and people with knives, yet you don't pull your piece out. Oh, wait, guns. Can I fire now, please? There we go. I love those noises. Especially the gun noises. Do you know what I mean? It is quite a hard place to sort of miss everyone firing at you. Oh, I really don't like the freeway. Actually, I don't know, but I really don't like the freeway gun. I think I'd rather just, you know, spit death at people with the standard gun. Oh, I can shoot the grenades. You've got to punch the buckets, haven't you? I suppose backup's out of the question. So as you can see, obviously you are Robocop, but it's like most arcade sort of movie licenses at the time. Thank you for the better gun. It's just a sort of loose working or reimagination of the movie. Oh, first boss, Ed 209. What an icon of movies. Alright, he was stop motion. You know. Oh, that reminds me, by the way, can I just say I am vehemently opposed to the remake of the movie. You know, the stop motion thing reminded me. Maybe you could have a better special effect Ed 209. I don't know. I think the movie absolutely nailed it. I think 2 and 3 were fucking monkey balls, but really don't need a remake of the original Robocop, you know. Not quite Blade Runner, but it's sort of a version of a darker corporate run future is absolutely brilliant. Obviously heavy nods to Judge Dredd from 2000 AD, and it's got a great sense of humour. I do remember being very disappointed with how Ed 209 looked on the Spectrum version, even the Atari ST version, which was pretty much a nearer representation of the arcade and all the other versions. He was tiny. And contrary to popular belief, people, size is important. Catch me. Can't help but notice. What are your parents doing if you're down here, love? Nice. I do like the background, like Delta City from the movie, obviously. They're very athletic for people carrying heavy chainsaws. No, that's a gun I can get on board with. I mean, some people would say it's very unoriginal, but this was just how arcade machines were back then, weren't they? Clearly inspired Sega's Eastward, which, what I like is you know, it's just not as good. You're welcome. He says I'm getting fucked up. Just a random fact. I mean, they touch on this in Robocop too, don't they? But if you were Murphy, wouldn't you just be incredibly pissed off that you're, you know, you got no backup and you got shot to fuck in the first place and killed, then they reanimated you and the only part of you that's human is your head. I personally couldn't see the point in carrying on. You know. Well, you know the obvious reasons, but the only part of you that's human is your head. If you know what I mean. As a man, that would suck. Yeah, get some of that, you prick. You're a boss. Fuck, well, he seems to be working. Dude, they're not listening. Yeah. Oh, fuck.
Thank you for your cooperation.
Nice shooting, son. What's your name? Anyway, I'm going to call it quits there. If you've got MAME, this game is an absolute classic. You need to play it. Thank you for watching. I'll see you later.